I detest food that is unnecessarily fancy. And I say that as someone who, has done very fancy food. I believe that either it's incredibly articulate, technical, fancy in whatever form it need be, or it is as simple and elemental as possible.
If I could just have you introduce yourself, your role here at Charter Oak, and then where we are.
My name is Christopher Kostow. We're here at the Charter Oak Restaurant. My role here is that of owner and chef.
My name is John Aylesworth. I'm the CDC here at the Charter Oak in St. Helena.
Hi, my name is Alejandra. I'm the Maitre d' here at the Charter Oak, born and raised in St. Helena.
Hi, I'm Kate Morrison. I'm from Healdsburg, and I'm in pastry here at Charter Oak.
My name is Marshall Formanuval. I'm a sous chef at the Charter Oak, and I'm from Georgia.
My name is Zachary Yoder. I'm the farm director here at the Meadowood farm, and I'm originally from the Napa Valley, and I've been here at the farm for just about 10 years now.
We opened the Charter Oak in June of 2017. The goal with this restaurant was really to not take a fine dining, fancy restaurant, take some elements away from it and call it casual. The goal was to sort of start over, and it was incredibly ambitious in its intent and its scope. We wanted to make the experience, a word we use here is elemental. We wanted to focus on the products that we were growing and good products that we were sourcing. We wanted to do as little to the food as humanly possible. That lent itself stylistically to what I thought the building called for, to how I like to eat, but also to the size of the space and the desire to have this place full and teeming with people, and that style of food lends itself to that sort of volume.
I've been here a little over 2 years and started as a line cook. And I think just the transition from the quality of food I was serving in South Carolina to what the expectation here is in Napa with such a rich history in the culinary scene was just different. It took a while to adjust to.
I've been at Charter Oak here for like about a year and a half. I truly love it. I think I came here originally years ago with my parents, and I was so inspired by the space. As you can see, it's just such a gorgeous setting. And I have my own realm down here. It's like my little grotto. It's an oasis where we just focus on making like beautiful, soulful, delicious pastry and incredible bread. Look at that milk bread. It's a really lovely and inspired environment to work in.
This is my first restaurant job. I started when I was 20 years old, started as a host. Then I was food running, from there expediting. Then I went downstairs to the office, administrative coordinator. I was administrative coordinator for Charter Oak, Lovsky Deli in Napa, and Lovsky Deli in Marin. And now I'm back upstairs in the dining room, and I'm Maitre d'.
My brother actually worked here for a little bit as a line cook, told me about it, how he enjoyed the food and the team. And then from there, I kind of just applied for the hearth. And then the executive chef at the time asked me if I wanted to be sous. Just because we got along, we kind of saw eye to eye. And then from there, I kind of just slowly moved up the ranks here. So,
What got you into cooking? When did you start?
so my mom was usually the one that cooked in the house. And I have 11 brothers and sisters, so you can imagine that's a lot of food to cook. And at some point she hurt her back, so she kind of just stopped cooking, which meant we just started eating like not a lot of good food, like not a lot of good homemade food. So my siblings and I all kind of took it upon ourselves to become good at something. And then from there, it just kind of sparked like seeing my family enjoy my food. And then from there, my brother started with a catering company out of Troy, Michigan. Got me a job. All of my brothers started working there as well. And they did all the festivals in downtown Detroit.
I was born and raised in Chicago, Highland Park, and my first cooking job was at a place called Ravinia, which is a music festival there. So all the kids from high school would go work at this music venue, and the venue was ringed by a series of restaurants, and I got a job as a cashier. at the Counterpoint restaurant. So I had like a little white plastic visor and a name tag, and anyways, the guys in the kitchen were having a lot more fun. They were getting high in the walk-in, and they were drinking the remains of like the boxed wine and stealing golf carts. I was like, I want to go do that. So I started cooking there in the summer times, continued to cook in the summer times through high school, through college, cooked in college a little bit as well. After graduating college, I moved to San Diego, cooked there for a good chef, a guy named Trey Fauché, who gave me my first shot. Went to Europe for a while, back in San Francisco, back to Europe, back to San Francisco. So I was in France for about 3.5 years. Kind of my big shot coming back to the US was I was hired as a sous chef for a guy named Daniel Hum at Campton Place, who's now obviously 11 Madison Park. When he left to take over 11 Madison Park in New York, I wanted to stay in the Bay Area, and I took a job as a chef at a place called Chez TJ, which was a small little old Victorian house in Mountain View.
I started in pastry after I had my son. I was really motivated. I wanted to make him some delicious food. And so I brought my passion for culinary and parenting, and that's what inspired me.
I don't know, it just happened one day. I dropped out of high school and needed something to do. Started at a burger place, and then just continued from there.
My family moved out here in 2012, and I kind of just stumbled upon the CIA down the road. And then I just attended. I loved it. Loved the area, the food, the chefs, the culture of the Napa Valley. So that's why I stayed.
I never really spent any time in Napa Valley. I'd been up here doing some events with Daniel, and I didn't know much about it, but I didn't really care, to be honest with you. I got into Meadowood. While it wasn't stylistically super aligned at the time with what I wanted to do, meaning the restaurant, I think we saw an opportunity to where we could, if we performed, if we did the food well, if we could build the team around us, I thought we could be a destination, like a real destination. It was in that time that we started to really embrace the valley as a jumping off point for the food. I lived in a little duplex not far from here where the house butted up against this vineyard that ran to the river. I'm sure there's houses on it now, but at the time it was probably 20 acres of field where I would take our dog at the time, who's still alive miraculously, and you'd find these things that were edible. You'd walk down the creek and there's wild plums. There's all these things. It was just sort of an interesting revelatory moment. We started to really dig into the Napa aesthetic and place, and from the artisans that we used to make the plates in the valley to the foraging that we did, in areas like that or Bothy or a million other places in the valley, to the ability to start a farm, which we sort of started putting very serious roots down and started to stop looking elsewhere and sort of started looking inward a little bit. We were approached by the St. Helena Montessori School in 2009, asking if we wanted to grow on that land. At the time, there was nothing there. There were no buildings, there was no school. They had plans to move the school to that location, and they wanted a professional agrarian operation, as that was kind of part and parcel with the curriculum that they were going to teach the kids.
We grow as sustainably as we can. Not certified organic, but we use all organic practices just because it makes the most sense in terms of soil health and being tied to a specific place year after year. So we try to feed the soil and make sure the soil and then therefore obviously the plants are healthy. We're mostly a no-till farm, which allows us to really build up our soil profile again year after year, which leads into soil health and plant health. And then obviously eventually better products. Being in the Napa Valley, we sort of get access to all 4 seasons. We're able to grow 365 days a year. We're seeding or planting essentially every week of the year.
So we started that farm ourselves. I have pictures on our wedding day out there, watering. We had no drip lines, we just had a hose. My mother-in-law helped, dig fence posts and all the sort of stuff. It was very, very bare bones. Zach came in, I think 2010, 2011, and has made it what it is. I take zero credit. He has really created an operation that is really without parallel in the US. We were able to use products and parts of products that no one else could access ever. And we sort of developed that style of cooking that became known at the restaurant in Meadowood.
And when did you kind of get into farming and, being connected to the land in this way?
I would say I've been interested in and into farming and plants since I was a kid, just gardening with my grandparents and my parents growing up. So it's always sort of been a hobby / passion of mine. I didn't really take it seriously as a career growing up because it's, it's farming and, so I originally got into the family business, which was construction and carpentry. Did that for a while, and so I really liked working with my hands, but I still felt really connected to farming and to plants, so I would, have my own gardens, and just like, I really love this. I didn't love carpentry, so I just sort of decided, hey, I'm gonna try to make a change here and see what happens, and I was lucky enough to find Meadowood, and kind of the rest is history, so to speak, and I've been here and growing and learning, and 99% of what I've learned about farming has been here at this farm and just learning about the microclimate and how things grow here and what grows well here and what the chefs are interested in, and yeah.
We opened the Charter Oak in June of 2017. John stepped into the role of chef, I think 6 months ago. He is incredibly good with the team. He understands, he's very empathetic and very intuitive, and he understands how the team is feeling, what the team needs to be successful, which is really important.
Start the day just kind of like checking in on everybody, see where the prep's at. If there's a new menu change or anything, I just kind of like make sure it's going in the right direction. Yeah, just make sure prep's going in a good way. Events are going, are getting prepped out and stuff like that.
Tuesdays, I open the restaurant, so I'll be expediting fire grilled avocado, and on back you have chicken. Perfect. I set times so that the food comes all at once. Other days, I'll be in the office. I also work on group dining reservations, so those larger groups from 10 to 25 guests, sometimes even larger, and setting them up with a set menu in one of our private spaces that we have available.
In my role, I'm responsible for all the pastry and dessert that we serve on the menu, and I'm also responsible for special events and special requests.
Kate has been helping in pastry for some time. She brings a certain degree of experience and like common sense and calm to an environment that can oftentimes be otherwise. She's got a really good palate. She's done some really good development work. She makes a really good cookie. We're very lucky to have her.
So it's pretty dynamic. I see like a lot of different requests, and I'm able to sort of express more of my creativity in that way, and that's interesting. Also, as the seasons change, we get in different produce, and we're a very seasonally driven menu, which is exciting. So we're always coming up with something new, and we have access to just wonderful ingredients from the farm.
Everything is a collaboration. One of the main differences between the culinary side and the farm side is that, this plant that you see here, any plant is months in the making. It takes time to go from seed to any sort of product. So we need to have a lot of collaboration, a lot of planning, a lot of communication about what the kitchen team is going to want to use. But also on the flip side, we bring a lot to the table with saying, hey, this is what grows well here. This is what's going to be good at this time of year.
We have a menu matrix that if you saw it would kind of blow your mind of what a year looks like, that we build that matrix in conjunction with the farm. So we know what product is coming when and what dishes change to what, and that's how we operate.
What does your initial work look like, and then how does that translate into service, and what do you do during service?
Right now I'm the opening sous chef, so I just get here, look over the closing procedures that were done last night, look over everybody's prep list, see what needs to be done for the day, and then start pitching in wherever's needed. And then during service, I just float around from station to station. Right now I'm just cleaning greens from our farm for our crudité. After this, I'll be making a bay leaf oil for our soft serve, also with bay leaves from our farm. And then move into the next project.
What are like some of the main things that you're looking for to help with, or?
Whenever a station starts to get bogged down, it's better to step in early. That way it's not a longer delay, and just make sure all the products leaving the station are consistent with what we want to be serving to our guests.
This one is more personal. What are your culinary aspirations at this point in your career?
God, fuck.
That's a big question.
Okay, what I want more than anything else is to bake as well as my grandmother did. She's from Sweden, she's a Swedish baker, and she inspires me.
Is she what got you into baking?
Yes, definitely. I grew up in her kitchen, at her apron strings, learning everything I could from her. You know, just even walking into her home, there was the smell in the air, like the most delicious smell that I've ever experienced. And it just would fill me with a sense of warmth. And the things that she did with butter, sugar, just really simple ingredients, but it was her technique and the love that she put into the food.
And then what do you think it's going to take for you to get to the point of being on par with her?
It takes experience, it takes practice. Like pastry is so much practice. There's nothing that you can trade for the time. It takes time and it takes commitment.
You know, still to this day, again, I've been here for 10 years now, and I still feel extremely lucky to be able to, you know, get paid to play around with plants essentially, and to be able to be creative, like I said, is pretty special.
There's great food everywhere at high end, low end, etc. So I think you really, and I always believe this, you really need to justify the expense and the time of 3-star cooking. It being fancy doesn't make it good. Being good makes it good. And I think as I get older and see more things, I think as the restaurant tide rises, to do a food that you can justifiably call 3-star is harder than it was before. And I think that sort of challenge I find very attractive. So I'd like to return to that place.
I honestly just want to grow, whether it's in the restaurant or in my personal life. I think my next step, what I'd like to be is somewhere in the event world, which is why I'm excited about my role at the moment of dealing with group dining reservations, those larger groups of 10 to 20 something, and who knows, maybe next time it'll be 100 guests or 200 for weddings.
Ale is OG. Ale is the soul of the churro. She has worked through every position here. She has taken on more and more responsibilities. She knows what right looks like, which is the most important thing. It's sort of in any situation, she knows the right thing to do. Ale is backbone material.
All right, quote of the day is, "There's no magic in magic, it's all in the details," by Walt Disney. So let's make sure we get those details during service. So there's magic in there. Gross, cut that out. I'm sorry.
I'd also like to ensure that we are creating a generation within the restaurants of cooks and managers and wine team members, et cetera, who are taking the reins of things, both of these businesses, and are given opportunities to go open additional projects.
I'd like to be executive chef of the restaurant, kind of have my own menu, build a team like from the ground up, and then just kind of get my own experience and acclaim that way. Yeah, I'd like to eventually get to the point where I can kind of just do my own food and explore my, not really like heritage, but like the foods that I've come to enjoy throughout my career.
What are some of those foods?
It's like barbecue, honestly, just comfort food really. So like mac and cheese, collard greens. I'm not from the South, but I have a deep appreciation for their passion for comfort food, cornbread and things like this. It kind of stems from my one of my brother's wives is from Louisiana, and growing up, my parents didn't really use seasoning. So when she came through to cook one time, she just brought all the seasoning with her, and I just felt like it was a completely different world of food. And I haven't had a chance to get down to New Orleans, but I'd love to get down there and try some of the food at some point, so yeah.
No 2 seasons, no 2 years are exactly alike. So, you know, it just allows us to sort of think on our feet, and it means that it sort of never gets old, because, you know, hundreds and hundreds of crops throughout their life cycle, you sort of wind up with really quickly sort of, you know, an infinite number of combinations of things that you can do with them. So I think my aspirations are to sort of just push that process as long, you know, as many seasons as I can, and just participate in that creative process, and continue growing as a farmer through that.
I don't know yet. I'll just keep going, see how far I can go with it. And I don't have an end goal, just be better one day at a time.
Marshall has the greatest life story ever. He is just one of those incredibly thoughtful and smart sous chefs who's going to go very far because of his sort of intensity and his focus.
What do you do to get better one day at a time?
Mostly I just self-reflect at the end of the day, see what challenges I face, what I can do to be better the next day. Just where are issues that can be solved in the future? How do I avoid those mistakes again?
Do you have any specific things you'd like to get better on?
Yeah, there are a few. I'm really bad at having a hands-off approach. It's much easier for me to just jump in and solve a problem than to let people solve it themselves. And then that causes me to not be able to manage my time efficiently.
And what are some of your strengths?
I'd say work ethic would probably be the biggest one. Tend to have a positive attitude for the most part, but
We can say the things we want to do, but the reality is we have a responsibility to make sure the things that we already do are being done at the highest level. So that's where that's the first step when you get out of bed in the morning, and that's what I'm most focused on.
What do you love about working here at the Charter Oak?
I think I love the unpredictable nature of it, and the fact that no 2 days are the same, that it's always challenging, that it sort of forces you to think creatively, think about things in a different way, and while also being able to be out in nature and dealing with plants is just sort of a special process. And I still sort of have to pinch myself every once in a while that this is what I get paid to do. So I think quite simply just that it's never, that no 2 days are ever the same, and I get to be creative. So
I love the staff here. I love the feeling of support. There's just so much mutual respect, admiration, and encouragement. I feel like particularly Chef John and Chef Marshall, everybody contributes to making this kind of sense of fun. It can be a battle, it can be a struggle, but with that support, it does feel more like a family, like we're getting through this together.
What do I love? Honestly, the people. It kind of makes this job very, very easy and enjoyable. We have such a good team, and it's taken a while to kind of fine-tune all those different departments. But with all the right people in place, this job is just honestly a pleasure to be here every day, working with all these guys. They all do such a good job. Everybody pulls their weight, and they all get along. So it just makes my job 1,000 times easier. So yeah.
I think the variety of opportunities, whether we're doing our normal food day to day, which is faster paced, a little bit more rustic, or doing events with Chef Kostow or any of the other people here, which gives you more of a fine-tuned dining experience. And then the farm, another great opportunity, and then his other restaurants, Chichio's and Lovsky. There's just so many different things to do that it never gets boring.
Oh, the growth. Definitely the growth, the ability to grow. There's some restaurants where it's just, this is what you do and that's what you're going to do every single day unless you go to a different spot. And here, Chef and Martina are very passionate about their employees growing, whether it's in a different role. Every 6 months I sit down with them and they ask me what it is I want to do. And so that's amazing to have someone on your team like that.
The Charter Oak is the most resilient sort of operation that I've been part of. This restaurant always sort of gets up and dusts itself off. It is also, as I mentioned, wildly ambitious in its approach, and we've stuck with that in a time and a place where most people wouldn't. Simplicity is so much harder than anything else. To deliberately do things that are simple is insane. Most people would be like, that's not wise. do a little thing, do a little flourish, do a little garnish, do a la carte, don't do a million things. We've chosen, I think with a good degree of success, to stay true to the original vision. I remember talking before we opened that I wanted the tables here to have like indentations from people's elbows after 30 years time, you know? That the building and the space and the concept needed to settle in and take on a certain patina. And it's not there yet, but I think it's on its way.
Amazing. That's all we got for you. Thank you for taking so
All
much
right,
time.
thank you.